Only 7, you know.
Sometimes.
I've been an extra because I've been hanging out on a lot of Courtney sets lately.
Well, actually, we're going to get into that one because here I am so excited to be here on the stage with Charlie Shrem and Courtney because
Thank you for having me.
the two of you. Oh, and also I'm Joyce Chow with Transform.
It's good to be here with you.
Wonderful to be here with you guys. Okay, first of all, these two are the model couple. I have been watching them for years. They are so freaking adorable. And they just love and support each other through thick and thin.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Very kind.
You know, when Courtney and I met in New York City back in the early days of Bitcoin, it was 2013 when we met. Courtney was
Can I
doing-
just say
yeah.
that Charlie was one of the founders of the
Pioneer.
Bitcoin Foundation.
Yes, I started the Bitcoin Foundation, and I started one of the early Bitcoin exchanges called BitInstant. It was pre-Coinbase. We were the largest Bitcoin exchange for a couple of years, and one of the lesser things that I'm known for is me, Eric Voorhees, Yifu Guo, Roger Veer, and like 10 other people invested in my college friends' struggling nightclub, and like literally all these Bitcoiners. We took when Bitcoin was worth like maybe $10, we all helped out. And the best thing that came out of it was Courtney was there working and she was acting at the same time. And she ended up doing the first transaction at a nightclub ever in the history of the world for people buying champagne and things with Bitcoin.
Yeah, I literally thought it was just an alternative payment system, and it ended up literally being my entire life. So here we are today.
Did you have any clue at that moment?
I had no idea. Like I said, I just thought it was just like another alternative way of paying for something. And then they gave me a QR code and an iPad, and they were like, here you go. And you can literally buy a drink with Bitcoin. And that's how we met.
A lot of people would come in just for that experience. They would fly in from all over the world, and we also lived above it, which was another story and experience too.
Yeah.
You know, when you're the entrepreneur and all whatever, and people, they would say, oh no, Charlie, Courtney, come downstairs. Someone wants to spend Bitcoin, and Courtney was the only one who knew how to do it.
So I would do the transactions.
Did you do like a pomp and circumstance and all that? Ring the bell?
Met-
The Bitcoin transaction?
I can't tell you how many people like came through there that were orange pilled, like the CEO of blockchain.info and Coinbase and Circle, and everyone came through there. Like,
I mean, that's where I met Eric Voorhees for the first time, Jason Penner for the first time, like Jared Kenna, like all those people I met at EVR. And because I was doing their Bitcoin transactions in a nightclub.
we were dating for 8 months, traveling around the world, doing, you know, speaking for Bitcoin in Amsterdam, Argentina, London, Morocco. This was 2013. And then, like I said, we were dating 8 months and I had the big arrest. And I got arrested by the federal agents in JFK airport coming home from the conference. And I think that people don't realize that when you're in prison and you have a relationship, it's not a passive relationship like it is in the regular world. It's a very active relationship. You have to every day realize that if you don't grow and stay connected, it's going to die. And in the real world, we take that for granted. And I think that's at least why, you know, I love you so much.
I love you, baby. And I will have to say is communication is key. And if you just keep that door open and just constantly stay in touch with each other, and you won't grow apart, and you're there for each other, it works. So
true. So I talked a lot about myself, and everyone really knows, but what have you been up to in the last 5 or 6 years?
hi, everyone. I'm Courtney Warner Shrem, Courtney Warner for actress, and then Courtney Shrem, Charlie's wife. So we have been producing and together for, I guess,
2020.
yeah, since COVID or a little after COVID.
Experimenting with different ways to do entertainment.
And we were merging crypto investors with film. And that's actually how we got Ask Me to Dance, which is a romantic comedy on Prime that you can watch. And that was actually our first film that we did where we merged crypto and, you know, not regular financing.
Yes.
Yeah. And then, so yeah, I have just been acting for a really long time. I had 2 film premieres, and that's why we're here. and I'm on the Bay right now. I don't know if you guys know the TV series. It's 10 seasons, so I'm the new face. And you were on the Bay. I know, because we were binge watching it, and because when I found out I was going to be on the show, I'm like, there's Joyce. Joyce is on the show. It's as
You were a season regular for like 3 seasons.
Were you a photographer or
sure we were newscaster?
Newscaster. That's right. Yeah.
Newscaster.
Yeah. So that was really cool. So yeah.
Got to get back on that show.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. Let's bring him to
Season
Las Vegas.
11. Let's go.
Let's take him to the Tiger Mansion in Las Vegas.
But
Oh,
you know,
wow.
that's not a bad idea. Actually, that's not a bad idea. But a lot of people were, the AI. Everyone focuses on the doom and gloom. But Courtney and I have been experimenting with, we have a film premiere next week. Courtney's a big star, and it's called Whiskey Run, and it's going to be on Prime. When you watch it, if we tell you what the budget was of that, you'd think it's insane, low, but you don't see it. And that reason is that when you have brilliant people so I think the speaker said above the line before, that can supervise AI agents and do things the right way, the director, producer, literally of that film did like every role. He was he did lighting, camera work, post-production, editing, effects. He did almost everything. That saved tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, you would think that there's like a whole crew.
Exactly, but there
You
isn't.
just see what's in front of the camera. You don't see what's behind. So it was really clever the way he did that.
To give us an idea, how much was the budget of the film as you guys did it, and how much would it have been if you had done it without AI?
It's a great question. If we had shot the film's called Whiskey Run. If we had shot it here in LA, it would have cost at least $500,000 to $1 million. We
Even more.
under 6
Even more.
figures. Yeah, under 6 figures. And it goes out. But I guess the point is that you can save costs, and then everyone that works on these projects can actually make more money because you have less people. So wages do go up, and then there's a specialization spread around. And that's why it's not like you're not scared of it.
Exactly.
Do you know what? I think you brought up something that most people aren't thinking about is with AI, you're able to produce things that you might not have been able to create before.
Very true.
100%. 100%. It's been not just with AI, but all sorts of technologies that have been coming out lately with Bitcoin and crypto and everything.
So Courtney, how did you, in Bitcoin, they call it orange pill, right?
Yeah.
So you were orange pilled by Charlie and everybody that came into the bar. What do they call it when you do it for film and entertainment? How did you, not orange pill, but bring him over to your side?
Because he believed in me. No, honestly, he just wanted to. I've been at this for a really long time. I lived in New York City. I was for 17 years, and you get your bites here and there, but it didn't really start to happen for me until we started Ask Me to Dance, and then it kind of just was this roller coaster ever since. And it's been I should say rocket ship because we're going to the moon, people. No, it's been amazing. But yeah, so how did I get you into it? I guess it's just you wanted to just be part of it, and then also you wanted to introduce the crypto aspect with film, and then we kind of just had this own model that we do, and just been going with that for the past 4
The
5 years.
adventures, a
Yeah.
lot of adventures, reminded us of the early days of Bitcoin, kind of like these types of conferences where everyone's friends and try to work together and collaborate. And we started to put together some really cool projects, and it's like creating small startups, but instead of doing one startup over 5 years, you're doing 3 startups a year.
Yeah. To say I was orange pilled, I would say 2013, I went to my very first Bitcoin conference in San Jose, California. And it was probably the most magical experience I've ever been to because I just saw so much innovation and just so much creativity. I kind of miss how it used to be in 2013 because people weren't there's just so much has happened since then. And, I think a lot of people are more jaded with it. And it's nice to see that people are coming around the corner again and really believing in it and thinking of different ways to embrace
Yeah.
it.
Not only that, but I'm happy to see the people that were around in the early days continue to embrace it. You have an OG like David Chow over here, but Michael, we met in 2013 or 2014. I remember when At EVR, the club, right there.
EVR. It was on 39th Street between 5th and 6th, across from Bryant Park.
Upstairs.
Oh yeah.
$66. That morning, I ended up going and speaking at the New York Games of Mentions, and I put, trying to afford any of the 100 people crowd.
Oh my God.
YOLO Thursday, and not a single person didn't equate it back at the price. Someone came up to you and said, this is only good for once in profit. One way is path off before you get around. That's a funny the mainstream of that really why I'm more. But my main memory, other than meeting you, Courtney, just you brought Siki Wood brought the nightclub, was there and colleague would be like something last for me that night. And I was go, apparently you I San Jose to like big ball. Stunning. But all the thing I really got more folks that you know, Steve. Remember asking out of curiosity so this Anthony it got a reassess. So where does this go in 10 or 20 years? In 10 or 20 years, what percentage of the global economy is it really going to be Bitcoin? And they both looked at each other and said 80%. I was like, what? What? 80%? That would be hundreds of millions of dollars per Bitcoin. They said, yeah, 80%. So that blew my mind. And, it seemed like crazy talk now. Now all of a sudden, people like Michael Saylor are talking 20%. So it's amazing. Bill Gates once said, most people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in a decade. That's certainly the Bitcoin story.
I have to give a lot of credit because you guys were adults. I was a kid, so it was a little bit easier for me to latch on to something. I had nothing to lose. I had no family or anything to take care of. We were just dating, so I had everything to gain, nothing to lose. And maybe I got lucky. I latched on to the next biggest, the craziest socioeconomic experiment the world has ever seen. But you were an adult, so you were had to make a conscious decision to really latch on to this thing.
What made the decision easy was when I went to San Jose, right? I saw a lot of people that I knew had made a fortune in the internet and retired. They came out of retirement to get into Bitcoin. And I said, okay, these are some of the smartest people, most successful people I've known. If they're here, there's something going on.
It's a good thing to watch out
Brewster
for.
Kahle, for example, who sold Alexa and then went and started up, it didn't work, but he started up the first.
Yes, I was an account holder of the Internet Credit Union. I
That's
still have
it.
my debit
I
card.
remember that.
I still have my debit card. That was a short-lived bank called the Internet Credit Union, archive.org, out of New Jersey. They had one employee. Oh man, when I got arrested, I caused them I felt bad for them. They got so many they had to deal with compliance and everything. Oh man, but what a great, I feel Brewster Kahle, exactly, all these really brilliant people that came out of the shadows and wanted to get back into it.
I'll just never forget that story when you said, I think it was 2012 or 2013, tried marching into PayPal and they laughed him out of the office. And now look who takes Bitcoin, PayPal.
We at the first, in 2012, there was a conference. Remember Money 2020 that they first launched the first one? It was such a weird thing.
Why don't you come up here?
Yeah, come on up here.
I know, you shouldn't be out.
Know Charlie better than anybody from the OG days. And now this is what happens when you get a couple of OGs together. I mean, you hear stories you aren't going to hear anywhere else.
Charlie was actually, I think, the first and only OG panel that we had at a Coin Agenda.
Take it. We'll take it. It's
that we sort of rambled about OG stories a couple of years ago. And actually, you gave your brilliant talk about the mackerel economics from prison. So that was fascinating.
It's been, I'm really happy that I had the opportunity to write all that down and talk about it in those years getting out of prison, because you forget things. Yeah. And now I go back and I read those speeches and I'm like, wow, those were crazy things that happened to me in there. Yeah, I know. You forget. Your brain has a really good ability to delete bad things, and it's you only remember good stuff. And I wrote down a lot of stories, and I went back in my diaries and journals, but the macroeconomics that Michael was talking about, was that in prison you have no, and I learned a lot about how money works in there. I was 23, 24 years old, and there's no such thing. There's no real money. People can send MoneyGram or Western Union to your books when you're in prison, but all that means is that once a week you can buy from a commissary, and you're limited to, I think it's like $300 a month. So it's very limited, and but there's no other way for, like, there's no peer-to-peer currency. There's no way for inmates to trade with each other or to start sharing goods and services and have savings and things like that. Cigarettes and stamps, but what ended up becoming a thing was mackerel, like packets of tuna fish, but instead of tuna, it was mackerel. Don't ask me why. I think because the texture of mackerel was more solid than like the mushy tuna fish, but mackerel was the best source of protein on the compound. It was always a stable price. Every prison in the country, it costs the same. So everyone gets transferred at least once or twice from prison to prison. You're not allowed to take anything with you except for your clothes and your food. You can take your max. So it becomes a currency. You take it all over with you, and everything in prison is priced in max. Personal trainers, sodas at night. You want to food, contraband. Say it again. Haircuts. You had people. Yeah, any type of thing. So you had max, but then what happened was is that the one downside of these things is that they expire. After about a couple of years, you can't eat them anymore. And people spend a lot of time in prison. So, and you can't tell them like, oh, your savings are just going to expire. Like, it doesn't work. So what happened in the
Not like fiat currency. Oh well.
yeah, and well, in fiat currency, they take the bad dollars and they take them theoretically out of circulation, and they replace them with good paper money. But what happens in there is you can't do that. And you see, like, in war-torn countries, they like have startups where they're like are taping money back together. And
Do you do last in first out of your backs?
yeah, last in. Actually, you do. No, you do, because what happens is
Expiration date.
when you open your locker and you're paying someone, you're going to use the one that has the closest expiration date, and so that has a huge value. There's all these little things, but what had happened was is that I noticed people would price things in max and then money max. And what was a money mac? It was a mackerel that had expired, so they maintained value, only half the value. So anything would be priced one mac or two money macs. And that's what like the devaluation was. And it was very interesting to see like people have thousands and thousands of dollars in savings and expired fish in their lockers and hidden under their bed.
But you literally broke this down into like a mathematical,
So like breaking this down into the inflation rate and all this like economic geeky statistical stuff. We're breaking this all down in there. And you have a lot of like math nerds in prison too. So it's like,
Wait, did you actually eat the mac?
oh, I love mac. I would love mac. I would eat it raw, just straight, like with a fork, a little bit of olive oil. I loved it. So I still eat them today. I order them from Amazon.
When I went to-
old habits die hard. I texted to my prison friends like, "Hey, I'm eating mac today," but one day, the administration, there was a guy in there who was in there for 20 years, and the administration didn't know this, but when he got released, or no one knows what happened to him, they took like all of his thousands of money macs and they just put it in the trash. And so all the inmates, like, it was a gold rush. We ran, myself and we were like dumpster diving. We were hoarding. And so we were all overnight rich. They debased the currency. And that night we all thought we were rich. I was like, 10 sodas for me. And they're like, no, Charlie, money macs are no more. No one had accepted it anymore. It completely lost all of its value.
Kind of like in the Bitcoin Standard when they talk about when was it the Cook Islands, when the cook came over and brought all sorts of seashells there and like
Yeah.
flooded the market with seashells, and it diminished the value of seashells.
Crazy stories. But I thankfully I was writing to you. So I have like all these letters and we kept all that stuff. So it makes for a good book one day. I got to get
Or a
some
movie.
notes on how to write a book or a movie or something like that,
Yeah, or a TV series.
or a TV series.
So the early days of Bitcoin, how do you compare that to now being in the early days of sort of AI, particularly as AI with content creations? See, you mentioned it seems kind of similar in terms of the size of the rooms and the communities.
Yeah.
I mean, where do you see this going in a few years?
You want to take that? Okay. So I got into this industry from just being around Courtney's film sets for the last 5 years, running my various consulting or my own startups from literally her film sets. And what everyone is talking about is, yeah, Hollywood's broken. I think it's like a well-known thing. It was a front page of the Wall Street Journal, but I'm not a doom and gloomer. Like I don't want to go there. Um, but it's the same kind of vibes that I got from the early from that we were getting with money. Remember, like when we got involved in Bitcoin, people take for granted now. You could not send money to another person. PayPal was the only way. Wire transfers, you had to go to your bank and write a thing out. You couldn't go log into your bank and say, okay, here's the person's address, here's their wire information. You just go in, bam, bam. You can send a Zelle or a Venmo or a cash or
And
a
this is before stablecoin. So
before
really,
everything.
when I discovered Bitcoin, it wasn't just to see that it was going to change the world. It was also like, oh my God, I can send somebody Bitcoin and they're paid in 2 minutes.
Exactly, within seconds. So in the same way that it fixed a lot of things there, one of your speakers said, great 7 years of a technology. Anyone who's sitting here right now realizes there's a problem, but there's so much money to be made in the solutions. And that's what we're experimenting with our productions, trying to do all these different things. But I mean, you and I only do like one thing a year, and you have a big movie premiere next week and your TV shows and everything. So
And we had another one yesterday, After All, directed by Kirsten Carl Huber. It's starring Penelope Ann Miller, Kiara Muhammad, and Zach Gilford, Erica Christensen.
it's really good. It was really,
Really good.
So Charlie, I know you're involved in a number of different things. Like, I think you had something kind of in stealth. Are you ready to come out of stealth on that yet?
So I haven't talked about much
Stealth.
publicly.
Start.
I'll be so it's.
So,
I'll take a step back. For the last 4 years, I was in the VC world, alongside doing like a lot of things in the Hollywood and in the producing world too. But I was investing on behalf of a fund, Druid Ventures. I helped raise a little bit of that fund, and we invested like 25 startups. And I kind of felt like I was just jumping into solving problems for a lot of these different entrepreneurs, good problems and bad problems, helping them raise different funding rounds and seeing them make a lot of success with themselves and their families. And it gave me that itch. It gave me that itch to get back into it. I felt I was missing being a CEO again, and I was working for some great mentors based in Miami, and I can't really say who they are yet, but they presented me with a great academic idea, and we are looking towards the future of AI, quantum physics, and what that means for, the future of Bitcoin and crypto. But what I'm really excited about is that I'm hopefully trying to take the mistakes that I learned from being a CEO in my previous startup and not make those same mistakes again. And so, like, little things like I learned that you have to make personal sacrifices if you want to see success. So it's so dumb, but like every Zoom wearing a collared shirt, even though my team is not. But I just got to be a little bit above the team. Like
elevated.
I'm still a baby. Like I don't want to be the adult yet. So I'm still getting over that. That's it. That's all I'll say.
Fantastic. Great. So, wealth of knowledge, wealth of experience, wealth of wisdom. Everybody, Charlie Shrem.
Thank you so much.
And poor guys.
Courtney, Michael, Turpin, Joyce. Let Joyce, like, Joyce has been.
I didn't know that you were
You're in
that you were in the early episode of the same. Wasn't there?
She was so more than one episode, too.
These are so many things that I go, what? You were in that? And so, the humble, film star.
The Bay.
Yeah, I just have to commend
I love
everyone that
people.
literally has been up here and giving, all this amazing information. It has been so educational and just so beautiful, the guests that you have up here. So thank you for having us. It's really, really a pleasure. Thanks, guys.
Come back next year, and we'll keep it up, and maybe have twice the size crowd. We put this together literally in a very short period of time while we were in Singapore. So, picture.